What's up, everybody? It's a Hardy Construction. You can find us on YouTube, as well as Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. Facebook, you can find us at The Hardy Construction.
Very informative.
The Hardy Construction. On YouTube, obviously, Hardy Construction. Give us a like, share our videos, and tell people we're cool, because we like that.
We're cool.
With your host, Komp, and
Ghost C.
Today's film is
Incident in a Ghostland, or also Ghostland, 2018.
Incident in a Ghostland, 2018, directed by Pascal Laurier, written by Pascal Laurier,
That was good.
starring Crystal Reed, Mylene Farmer, Anastasia Phillips, and a whole bunch of other people like Amelia Jones and Taylor Hickson, Kevin Power, Rob Archer. Mother of two who inherits a house is confronted with murderous intruders on the first night in their new home and fights for her daughter's lives. 16 years later, when the daughters reunite at the house, things get really strange. What? Anyway.
It does.
So I picked Incident in a Ghostland because I had been watching a bunch of...
I think you like the name of it.
No, not even. The name is so stupid. I'd seen those top 10 horror movies of 2018 videos, and that was like, I think it might have been the same list that I saw.
This is in the top 10?
It was. So it was a really slow year
I guess
for 2018.
2018 was...
But that same list had Cat Sick Blues on it, and I enjoyed Cat Sick Blues.
I really enjoyed Cat Sick Blues.
And Incident in a Ghostland was there too, and I had seen a bunch of positive things about Incident in a Ghostland.
But how is this comparable to Cat Sick Blues?
I don't think they were comparing it. I think they just said it was one of the best movies.
I'm saying
it might have been okay. I might be saying it wrong. I think that they said it was underrated or movies that nobody's seen that are good. So I don't know if they meant best.
Okay.
But Incident in a Ghostland is a follow-up feature film by Pascal Laurier, who did one of my favorite horror films of all time, like one of my top 5 horror films of all time, Martyrs, the French version. My top 5.
Not the American? You don't love the American one?
Oh boy, what a great movie that remake was. Boy, I love how they really censored themselves with that film. Great movie. Piece of fucking shit. Right? Garbage movie. Yeah. Is it that hard to reshoot that film? Like, you shouldn't remake Martyrs in the first place.
First of all, they shouldn't have even attempted.
But how do you... But I mean, listen. It's a fucking house in the movie... And then they torture people, and they can't even get that looking right. It looked cheap as shit. And then the girl saves the other girl in the movie.
Remake a masterpiece.
They fucked it up. One girl dies in the middle of the movie, and then they decided to keep her alive to say, "Man, get the fuck out of here." That remake was trash. Fuck those guys. Fuck that whole movie. That Martyrs remake. Martyrs the original one.
So you love the American remake, and you suggest everyone watch that.
Forget everything I just said right now. I'm the opposite. I love that remake. And anyway, my top 5 my top 5 like horror movies are basically Pulse, Noroi, The Gate, Martyrs, and I'm sure something else which I can't think of at the moment. Probably Aliens or something.
See, I can't name a top 5 because it's always changing.
There's no 5 that you always go to that are horror.
Demon Knight is always one.
There you go. I mean, that's like a number 1 for you, isn't it?
I don't know. It's just like I just love it. It's like
what
a comfort movie for me.
So anyway, Pascal Laurier made Martyrs, the original French.
And Antichrist, actually. And
yeah, it was part that's obviously in my top 10 as well.
Hereditary. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, that's true. Hereditary is in my top 10 too. But Pascal Laurier made the original Martyrs, which was part of the French New Wave extreme horror.
It?
I believe so. Let me take a look really quickly. But it's a beautiful fucking... That is just a brutal film. Yeah, it is written by Pascal Laurier, who wrote the original one. And cool. This film, Incident in a Ghostland, is written by him as well. And boy, oh boy, what the fuck happened? He made a movie before this. Surprisingly enough, we were just talking about Jessica Biel, and she's in his movie. She stars in his movie called The Tall Man. I had no idea that was... his movie as well, because the trailer just looked fucking stupid. It looked like a woman chasing a ghost, but I think the ghost is just like a child kidnapper or something like that. And it didn't make any money either. This, I don't think, made any money. It got like more buzz for some reason. People found it more, found it interesting, I guess, because he went back to torturing women in his film. And it's not like Martyrs, the torture in Martyrs. Here's the thing in Martyrs, like the torture.
Okay, you got brain.
I'm trying to explain. No, I'm trying to see how I'm going to explain this. Like the torture of women in Martyrs is a different torture than, say, what was that movie that Laid to Rest? You know that terrible skeleton face man movie? In Martyrs, it's brutal and it's like unforgiving and spooky. And in Laid to Rest, it looks like it's trying to be cool, and maybe it's like for guys to jerk off to, looking at women getting their
and
tits
also
chopped
this doesn't necessarily have Martyrs isn't about torturing women.
No, it's not.
Women.
It's just like it's just a brutal
religion.
It's just a very brutal, dark film, and it's like it makes you think about stuff. Like I thought about life after I saw that film. That's how fucking, to me, that's how impactful that movie was to me. And Martyrs was just like, it had plot twists every 10 minutes in that film. And it was just directed perfectly, had a fantastically dark ending.
In a weird way, it's kind of like 3 separate movies or something.
It is. There's a very different beginning. It's a home invasion film that turns into like 2 women becoming psychotic with each other, and then the final part is like cult stuff. So it's like 3 different movies in one film, and they weave it together beautifully. Incident in Ghostland feels like it's like they took one scene out of one movie and they just extended it for an hour and a half or something. Like,
and also it doesn't make. There's no point to it. At one point you asked me while watching Fly 2, what is the point of this movie? When you texted something like that to me. Like, what was the point of me?
That's the same thing. I thought the same thing about
this.
Like, this film feels like it has an interesting twist in the middle. I'll give it that. I didn't know where it was going because I thought this was a haunted house movie. That's what I thought this movie was. I had seen nothing about it, really. I thought it was going to be like, ghosts, because it's called Incident of Ghostland. Apparently that's just the name of a book that this girl writes. So this film starts out, first of all, with a lover of all races and people, H.P. Lovecraft. There's a photo of him. I guess, okay, here's the thing. We got to always talk about H.P. Lovecraft. Like, people have real issues with enjoying his work now because they know he's like a racist guy.
Yeah.
And whatever, he's obviously he's a piece of shit.
He grew up in a time period where that was.
It was very strange because he hated every race, but I think his wife was Jewish, so I guess he was cool with Jewish people. Everybody else, he was like, they're worse than creatures from the great beyond.
Ooh, I'm sorry.
So there's a real love for, and I don't know why there is a connection with H.P. Lovecraft other than the main actress.
No, the actress
a writer.
Likes him. That's it.
But if you're gonna directly call out H.P. Lovecraft,
have an H.P. Lovecraft feel,
yes, do it in a film that has space cosmic weirdness to it. Don't do it in a film that just says. It's like I write an action film, and then I'm like, man, boy, do I love Mark Twain. Isn't Mark Twain great? And you'd be like, what's that got to do with
Mark Twain?
And there's not even a fucking like a giant boat or something like that. It doesn't make any sense. So towards the end, like, we might as well just talk about when the girl jumps through time, or she jumps through fake memories. This girl has how the Matrix, she has like the rape matrix. Like,
I think she just
she tries to jump out of reality. Like,
yeah,
the actions of this film are obviously taking place within 3 days, right? And the beginning of the film takes place in, they move in, the 2 sisters, one's like a real fucking witch, played by Taylor Hickson. And when I was looking into the film, and I was just looking more into who the actors are, Taylor Hickson actually got fucking severely injured making this movie. Could you imagine getting...
Wait, really?
I texted you about it. You're acting all surprised.
Taylor Hickson was... No, okay.
Taylor Hickson was the blonde sister, the one that had like a fucking attitude problem because she was so pissed that she had to leave her boyfriend back home. And she got there was a part where the director told her to punch this mirror or to go through it, and when she punched it, a piece of the mirror scarred the bottom of her jaw and her face. Ooh. Like, and it's a giant scar. When you Google Taylor Hickson and scar, you can see this gigantic scar. Like, it looked brutal. Shit. And could you imagine, like, she's a very pretty girl, and like, Hollywood, your business is your face. And I think the scar actually went down and she still works, which is good, but she sued the shit out of them, which is, she deserves every penny for them to be like, oh, do this, punch it. And I mean, like, they should definitely...
they should have had, like, a fake mirror or something.
Yeah, you would think they put sugar glass or something like that, but her face got fucked up, but not in a bad way.
Sugar glass? I never heard of
that. Sugar glass is like when people break through window panes in movies and stuff, it's sugar glass, so it doesn't really cut you. It just shatters, but it doesn't cut you. And which is weird. Like, I'm surprised that somebody could actually make that shit up. But I don't know what the equivalent is for mirrors, honestly, because I wouldn't fuck with anything with a mirror.
Did she keep filming?
I would assume. I have no idea. I think maybe that must have been the last shot of the film for her. Because if I got a gigantic scar on my face, I would think, I'm not going to do the rest of this movie.
Yeah, I'd be like, pay me $1 million right now, or I'm not doing the rest of the movie.
So yeah, she got fucked up, but she's still a very beautiful girl. She has like a light scarring on her face, but obviously that's got to really fuck up your career or your thought process of being an actor. But either way, she's still going on, so good for her. There's the mother played by Mylene Farmer, who is, I guess she's a big French pop star. I googled her. She's like not a MILF, but older than MILF. Like she's like Madonna age.
Oh wow, this is a bad scar. Holy.
It is, right? And Mylene Farmer has I just looked up Mylene Farmer, and she has some music videos. So she does like techno, like Madonna type of stuff. Myself, I love Madonna when she did.
Apparently, she had 14 top albums in France.
Yeah, she when you see it, because then there's videos with her singing with
what a weird name, Mylene Farmer.
I know, but I know I've heard that name in the past, but I don't know from where. But then there's a music video where her and Sting are making out. She's very pretty for a French lady, I'm not saying French women are pretty, but she's very pretty. And then also the main character, who is played by Amelia Jones, who's British actually. Here's the thing with this film: they got very good makeup effects. Their faces that look beat up and stuff, but when you look at it really closely, it looks bad. And also, boy, is this film transphobic or what? Oof!
What did they do?
The main psychopath guy, he's dressing up like a woman, so I guess they make a trans woman. I don't know what's up, but
I didn't take it that way. I just took it as this
it was so funny because when I looked at him, that guy who's what is the name of that guy? Candy Truck Woman. He's played by Kevin Power. They call him Candy Truck Woman, but he's played by a man. Or maybe he's a man identifying. I don't know. I don't want to get into it. When I saw him, I was like, who does he remind me of? And then immediately he reminded me of what the hell is this guy?
I thought that was supposed to be a woman the whole time, and then when the wig came off, I was like, maybe it just had cancer or something.
He is. When I looked at him in this role, because he has that long black hair, and he's wearing it looks like a slip. He's wearing a nightgown.
Yeah.
I looked at him and I was like, he looks like Maynard James Keenan when he was in A Perfect Circle. I'm watching and I was like, he looks like the guy from Tool. And I'm and then I kept thinking of that song 3 Libras, through the obvious. And I just kept singing that song in my head. I was like, it's Maynard James Keenan. And then I just go in these weird dives because my brain cannot let me rest. And then I was thinking
this,
yeah, and I kept, you have a lot of time.
The way the girl's escaping into her imagination, you're escaping into.
And one funny thing about Maynard James Keenan that had me laughing is I remember once that he had a back and forth with Marilyn Manson, Danny's hero.
Did they not? He's not my hero. Did they not like each other?
What happened was Maynard James Keenan strangely said, "Oh, why does Marilyn Manson dress up like an asshole all the time? It's not Halloween." And then I think Marilyn Manson said, "This guy wears a fucking wig on stage. Who's he kidding?" And I remember laughing.
That is kind of a weird thing for him to say.
Because Maynard James Keenan, when you watch live videos of Tool, he's always dressed up weird, for the most part.
Of course. I never that's a really bizarre.
I could not stop laughing at that. That's not
really a valid criticism.
Anyway, we digress. There's a big fat guy in this movie who's a psychopath. There's 2 people.
Who strangles dolls and girls.
What's funny? I had a joke in my head while watching that scene because there's a part where the Candy Truck Woman dolls the girl up. She dolls Beth up and then puts her in a chair with a room full of one of the worst dolls I've ever seen. I don't understand. I guess they wanted to make dolls look creepy for the film, so they gave them these very ugly looking designs.
What I don't understand
who'd they make the dolls for?
What is the motivation of these people?
And the weird thing is because they hear a news report about it earlier. Remember when she reads the newspaper? Or they read the newspaper, and she says, "Oh, the candy truck killers go to the house and they kill the parents and they just fuck around with the girls for a few days and that's it." And that's what they do. That's just basically what they do. They just fuck around the girls and they leave them alive, which makes no sense. There's just very. It seems like they try.
They never. I don't know.
To me, it seems
like there was no motive.
to me, this seems like Patrick Laugier was trying to make a movie that would scare Americans. Like Martyrs was made to scare everybody, I think. But I think
Martyrs was far more intense and also had a much better. I mean, I honestly, I feel like the whole religion aspect, I think it was cool, but it wasn't exactly my thing. But they explained shit in it. Like, there's a purpose for all of this.
And the thing is with Martyrs is that they didn't have their fucking hands tied. This is a film, obviously, it's an American film. I think most of it shot was Canada, actually. It got funded mostly by Canada and something else, but this is obviously made for an American market because, like, the scene where, like, it just seems so fucking stupid. Like, you know, the inside of the candy truck? It's like, look, there's a close-up on a lollipop hanging from the ceiling. Man, that's frightening. Oh, boy, I can't eat lollipops now. I'm going to have nightmares.
It was kind of like it was like teenager horror.
It was very lazy. I was like, who gives a shit a candy truck? Who gives a flying fuck? Like
when it first started and it showed the creepy house with all the dolls and stuff. My immediate thought was this feels like that movie like Annabelle.
Yeah. And I guess they might have explained that the aunt who passed away and left them the house, she was probably making the dolls because there's like dolls.
Yeah, she was like some weird lady. Fine.
Okay, so that makes sense that the dolls are ugly, but like, who did she get to do the voice for the doll? You know, that was the thing I was gonna say. Like, I was gonna make a joke that maybe that fat guy was gonna, you know, he's so stupid that he could pick Beth out of the dolls, but he ends up picking a doll and fucks the doll by mistake. Right. And then he actually does it. Like, he just takes the doll and he tries to molest it, and then he tries burning the hands. And they try to make it all scary. Like, ooh, he's burning the doll's hand. He's a psychopath. Look out. Don't go to sleep tonight. This movie's frightening. And it's just like, who gives
it's a little... I don't know.
It's a nice little interesting twist that the film starts out with them being assaulted and attacked by these killers. Then it jumps forward like 5 years later or 10 years later.
No, it's like 20 years later. 16 years later, according to this.
Oh, is it? And the girl's like a successful writer, and she's living with... It was so funny how I was like looking at the guys like, how do I know this guy? How do I know her husband? And it was like the guy from Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky, and you're like, I still don't know who that guy is. Believe me, the less thought about those Chucky movies... I tried to forget those movies, to be honest. But... well, the TV show's coming on Sci-Fi, so... You know, people are excited about that, but then I'm like, did you see Cult or Seed? And you're excited about...
Is it going to be... That's the one with the Chinese AI?
No, that's the new movie coming out, actually, in a couple weeks. I think
so what's this one going to be about?
They're just continuing where Cult of Chucky left off. It's going to be a TV series.
They need to stop. They need to stop.
I don't know. I really don't know what they're going to do with that show. The only thing that I think that's interesting is that the guy who did the very underrated Channel Zero is a producer on it, so maybe he'll steer it correctly.
You can't take dog shit and turn it into something good. Like, you need to put it in a bag and throw it out and be done with it.
So only rarely do I see people go, yeah, did you not see what those Chucky movies have become? They're horrible. And I'm like, yes, they're terrible. Like, so I don't understand why people are so crazy about the show. Brad Dourif, fine, but my God, I cannot take those movies.
Even he can't save
that last movie. You can tell he was he must have been like on an inflatable bed on a pool when they recorded it, like, and somebody was standing across from it because he didn't give a shit. Anyway, so this movie has that sort of jumping back and forth, and there's a hilarious scene towards the end because she starts seeing these real people as imagined, parts of her future, and she has a conversation with a guy. I don't know, is it that hard to find a guy who looks like H.P. Lovecraft? H.P. Lovecraft was a weird-looking guy, but it's not that difficult. Like, the guy they pick to play H.P. Lovecraft looks like he's about to turn into the Elephant Man, or he's turning into a rhinoceros or something. Like, his face is like the worst makeup effects for it. Paul Titley, he looks like
his face was very, very large. The chin was huge.
For a second, I thought he was an actor from this show called There's like a.
It looked like they were trying to do like a real life version of the guy from American Dad.
Stan Smith. You're absolutely right. Stan Smith, he looked just like him. He's like, "Good morning, USA." For some reason, I thought he was the actor. I think it's a character named Zach Woods. But then when I looked, the guy, Zach Woods is this guy. He's like a sort of generic-looking white actor that's in Silicon Valley. If you've seen him, you're like, "Oh, I've seen him in something before."
Okay. I know him. He's in The Office.
Right. Yeah. He was the weird guy that was obsessed with the redhead girl, right?
Yeah.
So I looked at him. I was like, "Is that the guy from fucking like? What is he doing in this movie?" But then I look. The guy turns his face, and he looks like the fucking bad guy from the Rocketeer. Like his makeup effects and his chin is so strange. And I was just like, it's like the girl's talking to H.P. Lovecraft. She's like, "Oh, I wouldn't think I'd see you here." And I'm like, "What the fuck is this scene? Like, this is so weird." It's like, like. I was waiting for him to say, "Excuse me, young lady, would you like to meet my cat, N-word man?"
It's kind of, right.
H.P. Lovecraft had a problem with black people. Like, he had a cat, I can't say the word, but he said it was called N-word man. Right? I mean, that makes me laugh so hard every time.
Listen, I'm not defending it, but I'm not gonna not read his books because of that.
Right. Like. But there was also people who weren't racist back then. They realized it was fucked up. But it was just, to me, I always find that so fucking funny. Because it's like H.P. Lovecraft is a great writer, but he couldn't get over the...
Well, he wasn't known in his time.
Right.
Was like, he died like...
Obviously, he's miserable. A great writer, but he couldn't get over the quote-unquote mud races. I don't know why I find that so funny. Like, this guy was so... like obsessed with demons and monsters from hell, but then like a black guy would like offend him greatly. Like, it's just so what's wrong with this guy? And then like what was I gonna say? I forget what I was gonna say about H.P. Lovecraft. But and he had like I mentioned it before, but there was a book called Lovecraft Country or Lovecraft County, and it's about the black experience in the early 1900s, but it's also Lovecraft like inspired horror.
Okay.
And it's really cool. And they, like, one character really likes H.P. Lovecraft. Like, the main character, when he's young, he's like a young black guy, and obviously living through that time, it's shit. And he loves H.P. Lovecraft. And then some guy says, "Oh, yeah, you like Lovecraft so much?" And then he gives him a poem, and it's called, this is me censoring it, it's called The Origin of the N-Word. And it's just, like, the most vilest shit about black people that H.P. Lovecraft wrote. So... me seeing him in this movie and Patrick Logier is like, yeah, this is great. H.P. And here's the thing. You can appreciate Lovecraft's work. I'm not going to say... the guy's very clearly talented. I listened to his books and it's great. But
a bad person.
It's okay to have conflicted feelings about it, you know? And I'm not going to talk anybody down for liking Lovecraft because I enjoy his works. But it's just, to me, I find that so fucking comical because, you know, everybody who's been good or very influential... there's something terrible about them, and I always find it funny that...
Not Mr. Rogers and not Bob Ross.
Not so far. You know, remember people used to say Mr. Rogers was like a war sniper? Remember they always said that? I don't know if that's true or not, but I don't think it's true, but there was always that thing that he was such a sniper, and then, you know, he was like, you know, "Hi, guys," and he would just shoot people out of trees and shit.
I love him.
But I thought that scene was so fucking funny. The main girl... actually, all the actors are very good in this, I think.
It's just a stupid script.
Mylene Farmer is a little out of place, the mother, but she has like a heavy French accent, and she's obviously like English is not her first language, but she's good in the movie. The older versions of the actors is Crystal Reed and Anastasia Phillips playing the sisters. Anastasia looks like she fucking aged 20 years instead of like the regular 16 years from her sister. Crystal Reed is very pretty. I think she's probably gonna see. She's the older version of Beth. And she has a great chin. I could have sworn she looked like the actress from that what was that movie, that woman who was mute and she's getting stalked and shit. Hush. Yeah, Hush.
But
that's not the same actress because I think that lady is also in The Haunting of Hill House, a show that we definitely should do.
Yeah, she's like.
But this actress is in Teen Wolf, so she's in like those teen college action films and shit, like Gotham and stuff like that.
But she's taken, alas.
She's a very, very, very pretty girl. Good. Everybody's basically a good actor. You know, you feel bad. You actually feel bad
this
for.
This is a fucking stupid script. Like having like, it's cool to have like this. She's got this whole like writing fantasy in her head, but kind of like, I don't know. It feels like you're mixing like a wholesome like family film into like a horror movie, and then
it reminded me of
slashers have no direction or point. Almost, it's like weird.
What was that French horror film that we saw, where it was like people in like a farm in France, and it was just like it was like a pointless French horror film.
Them.
No, it was another
with
one.
Kids, Inside.
No, that was great. It was like the last French horror new wave movie we did. I'm gonna look them up right now.
Oh, is it with like zombies?
Frontiers. See, that's how much you don't remember it. It was a bunch of it was like robbers running away from France. I remember the
name of it.
Yeah, Frontiers. It was like a boring, bland like French horror film, and like it just reminded me of this. It feels like just bland, like boring as fuck. Like the French horror films that people say that are good, like I can't believe people are putting Raw up there. And I'm like, Raw people think is a great fucking French horror movie? Like, that movie
I think it's okay. Better than this. I think it's better than this.
Like here's a list of French horror films. Martyr. This is like the first one that comes up. Obviously the best. Inside is a great fucking French horror film. Frontiers is up there.
Yeah, that was the one with the pregnant lady, right?
Yes.
Her hand gets stabbed with a scissor or something?
Right. Frontiers was like a who gives a fuck movie, but it's up there.
Hot Tension.
High Tension, right? They call it Switchblade Romance in America for some reason. Shaitan, one of the best ones we've seen.
Oh, that's a great one.
It's a great movie because it's
that doesn't count as the
Shaitan is like a weird version of Nothing But Trouble. Remember that weird Dan Aykroyd
movie? Yeah. I love that movie. But it doesn't count as that new wave.
I see it. Well, French Extreme. That's what they call
it. Why
would
it count as that, though? It's not.
Which movie? Shaitan?
Yeah, it's not like that.
It's
crazy.
It's a fucking Looney Tunes movie. It's like nuts.
Yeah, it's Looney Tunes, but it's not like extreme violence. Like when I think of that extreme shit, I think of like Martyrs and stuff. Not like
right. And then there's also there's one that I've seen that looked interesting called Livid, and I think it's about like ballerina going crazy. Revenge is up there. That's a newer one, which is all right. It was pretty good. But there's a lot of movies that are up there. The Purge Anarchy. That's not a French horror. Who made this? Google's out of their mind. Anyway, so this film falls very flat for Pascal Laugier, who made such an incredible film with fucking Martyrs. This is like it's not the worst movie, but it's like a movie that I didn't give a fuck if I seen it or not, which is really bad for like a third film from this director.
What are his other movies like? Tall Man, all that shit.
Tall Man, I don't give a fuck. If it's anything like this, I really don't give a fuck.
I mean, you haven't seen it?
Nah. I didn't see
so it could be good. Who knows?
It has Jessica Biel in it. I mean, she shows her big rump. That's what I'll watch. So? I'm sorry if I offended anyone. That's me appreciating the female form.
A big rump could never offend.
So I don't know. Like this is a very lame film, and it seems like it's useless and pointless. And I don't understand the hype. It looks good, but some of the artistic choices, like the inside of that truck. Like that, to me, whenever I see that, I heard about this horror film starring Kane. Remember Kane, the wrestler who was supposed to be the Undertaker's brother from WWF, like way back when. He had a horror movie called See No Evil or something like that, right? I think that's what it's called.
It already sounds stupid. But
and my friend told me that like it was shot like a Michael Bay film. Like there's scenes where it was trying to be spooky, where they'll focus an image on a rat. Like you know when rats are by themselves, they just sort of rub their faces for a long time. Yeah. And so like a shot of that for no reason to, I guess, imply that the film was creepy or something. I have no clue. And to me, I didn't see the film, and I was like, that sounds like the stupidest shit.
It reminds me of like when I was a teenager who listened to like freaky music. Yeah. And like you know, I'd watch a thing and there'd be scary clowns and I'd be like, ooh, like, you know, listening to like...
right. It's
and I still like this music, but like when you're like a teenager and you listen to like mindless self-indulgence and then you have like a lollipop monster guy on your screensaver or something.
Yeah, like, I remember when I saw...
You know what I'm saying?
I used to go watch like Disturbed. You know that band Disturbed?
Yeah, it's like that type of... Exactly.
My friend at the time, we came out and we're like, oh, we loved... Like, there was the first album was fun when you're like into that stuff back then. I think it's okay. And like he came out like Hannibal Lecter. He wheeled him out on stage wearing a straitjacket with the metal apparatus on his face, and my friend lost his mind. Oh, this is the greatest! Oh, if he could have done a backflip, he would have done it. It was bizarre, and I was I was excited, but my friend,
it's cheesy. Like,
I was I was excited, but my friend like he shot a load in his pants because a guy came out dressed up in an insane asylum suit. I got a problem with it, but it's just funny because it's like that's what you think. You think, oh, this is extreme. Oh, look at the inside. That candy car fucking really.
Like I mean, look, I love like silly little jump scares where like a clown bursts out of a thing. Oh, it's a clown. Like, but that's like all too much of this movie.
I don't understand how this. Yeah, I don't understand how this.
20% of what this movie is.
That jump scare doll that popped out. Yeah. Why did it have a mechanism within
to smash the glass?
No. Why did it have a mechanism inside the doll to laugh? Like, you're able to cover a doll's mouth to make it stop making a sound? How does that work?
Maybe the guy hallucinated it. Maybe we were
No. Remember, she was hiding in the closet with the doll, and she had to put the hand over the doll's mouth so it would stop laughing.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But I guess they're dolls that make noise, that speak, but it just made no sense.
But also, why did the dolls have mechanisms to smash through glass that was holding them? Like,
I don't know.
Like, it's a very strange film. 20% of this movie relied on jump scares of silly dolls, which is like okay.
Here was my thought of the film was this. Like, you know how they fake kill the two serial killers at the beginning of the film? Yeah. I thought the girl's going to come back home, and I thought the ghosts of those serial killers were going to haunt them in the house.
Yeah, and that's what I thought too.
To me, that's a much better film in my head than whatever they came out with, that she goes, oh, she comes back in time and she's being...
I feel bad because the actress was great, and I liked the whole... I was actually like feeling sad for the child having to go to these fantasies, which I've had fantasies like this myself. Like, you know, it's like, that sucks. But
you were like fucking hot chicks though, right?
I would be her fingering myself in the fantasy.
But she's a 15-year-old girl. That's nice.
No, at that point she's like 25 or so.
Yeah, but it's weird because the main actress, I was like, where do I know this? She looks like Victoria Justice, who's like that's a funny story. Well, it's not very funny, but I don't know why I should know more material than I do. Victoria Justice was this actress on a Nickelodeon show. She looks just like her. She's like a black hair. She should be very like famous, but she isn't. But she unfortunately was on a TV show called Victorious for a while, and she was on the show at the same time as Ariana Grande. And everybody thought everybody thought Victoria Justice was going to be a big star. And Ariana Grande has become what she is now, and everybody's like,
"Is that the one that Justice? Is that the one that like the shooting happened at a
concert? So Ariana Grande. So and then she makes poor choices in boyfriends. Oof. So Victoria's, and then also I was like, but where else?
I've heard these names.
There's this band. You and I were talking about Typo Negative earlier. There's a band called Novarium. Novarium.
I like that name.
Yeah, and it's a metal band, and she's the singer. She's very pretty. She looks just
Ariana
like
Grande is?
No. This band called Novarium. This is another girl that the girl looks like. No. Here's the thing. This is completely separate. I'm just saying.
You're just going on a total tangent
now. This girl also looks like this singer from this band Novarium. She looks exactly like her. So that's why I was like, why does this girl look so strangely familiar? She's Novarium, the singer of that band, does a cover of Typo Negative's Christian Woman. And I was like, God damn. And it's like the cheesiest video, but the girl's very pretty. So it's like, that's why I was like so confused. So if you want to look at a pretty girl that looks just like this girl.
Band. Okay. How do you spell that?
Look Novarium
I found it.
and look up Christian Woman. And it's like the cheapest cheapest homemade music video. It's like all out of focus.
Who used to be super hot is the band Kittie.
Yeah, I met them once. They were hot as fuck.
They were awesome.
But they had like 20 band members though, because mainly it was the two sisters, and they fired everybody.
Well, I only knew the original album. I don't know.
Right. Brackish. That they had like, it was very Static X before Static X, but with women. They were very rich. They're very rich girls, and I remember having such a huge crush on Fallon Bowman. She was like all of them. Fallon Bowman was I think she was the bass player. She was like the only girl of color in the band. You know, the dark skinned girl with the pink hair. Super hot. And then she ended up doing some weird sort of industrial techno music, which I actually, it's like cheap, but it's pretty. And it's like a music episode.
Yo, I want to follow up and see what they've all done.
They
they were like so young.
Fallon Bowman Fallon Bowman. I think she's like archaeologist now. And she did, she was like the original bass player. So I think she was rhythm guitar or bass player. And
that's really random.
She has an album that's like it's like weird industrial music, but it's called Deep. What is it called? Look up Fallon Bowman.
We're going way.
I don't know. Who cares? This movie sucks. Because now that you've told me about it, I've been obsessed with this.
I got it. Fallon Bowman.
It's called Deep Six or something 6. District 6. And and the thing is, it's like some obscure album that's not very good. And like but the cover of the album is just some sort of weird like city street in Canada probably. I am obsessed with that album cover, and I just listen to that album sometimes. But she's very hot. Fallon Bowman is super fucking smoking hot. And the girls from Kittie, the band was from 1996 to 2001, and I think one of the members, not one of the original ones, but I think they had like a Korean member that died of
They were like an offshoot of Slipknot.
Well, they had no direct connection with them, but
no, I think they were produced by.
Oh, probably like Sean Cran.
I think like he kind of like discovered them and shit, like Corey, whatever.
You know, Kittie had some good songs. Like metal people are like, "Fuck you, man, you can't."
No, I mean like they're definitely more like
pop metal kind of thing.
Kittie sort of music, but
she had a good voice. The girl from Kittie had a good voice. She had They had that song, obviously Brackish, and then they had this other song that was so good. I don't know what the hell the name was. I don't know. Either way,
whatever.
I don't believe they're together anymore. They had a Kickstarter to do a documentary, and that Kickstarter was like, it made money within fucking hours. So I think looking at their image, they had a total of 4, 8, 9, 10 members in that band out of the quartet. They just kept changing lineups. And, you know, their Facebook is still up. I don't think they still make music anymore, but good for them. This movie turned into about fucking. Oh, they're having a concert in London. Good for them. They're making money still.
Cool.
So Morgan something, I think was a singer. Good for Kittie. So if anything you can learn about this episode is that Kittie is still around making music.
I'm not seeing the album Brackish.
It's a song called Brackish. It's not a.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. Now you're making me.
No. Let's talk
about I have to find this one song. I don't give a shit about this movie. Let's just talk about Kittie right now. Kittie had a song called. Is it Charlotte? No. You went to the ground.
Spit.
No. God, what is that song called? Cool. I'm gonna be obsessed by that song. Anyway, so what are you talking about this movie? What else? Is there anything else?
I think we should just rate it because we obviously did not like it.
You go first.
Okay, I'm gonna give this movie a 6.5.
In Winter by Kittie. There you go. Look up that song, In Winter. That's a great song. All right, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a 6.5. Out of 10.
What a bizarre episode this was.
6.5 out of 10.
6? Wow.
6.5.
Why 6? Honestly, I'm just asking.
Maybe 7. I don't know.
No. I'm saying why is it that number? Like, there was obviously better. This is a better than bad movie for you then.
It's not horrible.
Okay.
It's okay. It's like mediocre, but it's
Okay.
It's like mediocre, but the actors are all good, so I give it a 6.5. Whatever. I don't know. My ratings are all over the place.
Same here.
6.5. 6.5 out of 10. Being a giant ogre who can just as easily strangle and kill a human as a doll and has no idea what is a doll or a human.
Yeah, I think he was a skinny guy in a fat suit too. I liked how. That's also something that came to me when they were pulling their bodies out of the house, the murderers, and the guy looked like 400 pounds.
Right.
It's just like 3 guys lifting up an obvious empty black body bag, like it weighed absolutely nothing. I was like, do they not think that whatever? Anyway, I give this movie a 5 out of 10. Being so scared out of your mind, you jump 12 or 16 years into the future to talk to a guy who died hundreds, at least 90 or 80 years before you,
and
to have a conversation, and named his cat N-word man, and had problems with people of color, because he was as scared of people of color as he is monsters
of interdimensional old gods.
With that, Danny, what's the final word?
The Mountains of Madness.